Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you that I don't understand your lived experience because I've never lived an experience as a man. Or
I'm not living an experience as a man friend.
person.
And I just want to be clear to everybody in this room
Too low vibration.
that I was invited here as a woman. So if we're going to engage in a conversation with each other, I would appreciate the respect of being talked to as a woman.
You deserve
I don't
respect
think I've
for
used
that.
any wrong pronouns here today.
No, we're not saying that.
I don't think I should have to. I think if I were to use the pronouns that you don't want me to use, then you know what? Tough. Like,
No, you get to reap the consequences of that.
But what are the consequences?
That part.
Wait. This is extremely important. Okay. If she calls you he, him, what are the consequences? Because to me, that sounds like that sounds like a threat.
It does sound like a threat.
So they were not. Excuse me. Hold on. Let's not interrupt a black trans woman when she's speaking. Leah Thomas got 5th place.
But you do interrupt.
I know, to
Leah
her
Thomas got 5th place.
devil's advocate, you guys interrupted a million times.
Interrupted so
when
much
the black
more.
trans, when the only black person is on set, when the only black person's on
What
set,
does that matter?
I think that we should prioritize the black voice here.
No,
So I'm
I
just
know, I
saying.
don't agree with that. I don't
No,
agree with that.
if you say that we're all
we being
women and we're all
racist?
equal, then
I don't
why?
care.
Racist today?
Then why would you do?
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back here into a new video, guys. Today, we're going to check out conservative women versus trans women. This is gonna be good. I love to check the video out with you guys. Let's get right into today's video, guys.
Hi, my name's Chrissy. I am a trans woman, obviously, and I'm in nursing school, just here to kind of say what I need to say, talk, and defend the girls as usual.
Hi, my name is Scarlett. I identify as a transsexual, and I'm just here with the girls for moral support.
Hi, I'm Blossom. I'm a powerful trans woman. You already know. And I'm here with my beautiful sisters, here ready to engage.
Yes, hello, I'm Stassi. I am a trans woman here to hopefully have a conversation with you guys, a good one.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys, gals, whatever,
Girl, you're good.
everybody.
Don't worry.
My name's Emily. I'm a political media personality. And yeah, here to talk. Okay, yeah, I can put myself in the Republican conservative box.
Hi, my name is Kristen Nicole. I am a conservative Christian woman, and I currently serve as the president of the Orange County Young Republicans, and I live in Newport Beach.
Hi, I'm Angelina. I would also put myself as a conservative Christian. I'm a senior in college, and yeah, I'm just interested to learn more today.
Hi, my name is Jewel. I would put myself in the conservative box as well, but I am very middle ground, and I love to hear everybody else's perspectives before coming to my own conclusion.
My take on the whole womanhood defined by biology is I just kind of feel like the debate is very redundant. I mean, you can say like, oh, trans women aren't biological women, but then also still say you should still treat them as women and we should still be treated as, you know, just a normal woman. I mean, like I said, the whole point of going back and forth of this terminology, it's just, there's no real point. And the people who disagree, it's very unlikely they're ever gonna change. And the people who already agree on it, it's very unlikely that they're ever gonna change. So people should just kind of like, I just feel like the argument's sort of pointless at this point.
I kind of feel the same way. Like I just have a very different viewpoint on what womanhood encapsulates, like in terms of like everything. I think it's very, I just don't think it's right to like make snap judgments like that about a situation that maybe you don't know like what my experience in womanhood is. Like, just like maybe I don't know what yours is. I just feel that snap of like making womanhood depend on biology just feels wrong to me.
I believe it's 100% biology. I believe from the second I was born as a woman to when I die as a woman, that entire journey, as difficult and beautiful as it is mine, so it's always gonna be different, but I believe every step of the way is affected by the fact that I was born a woman, I'm a woman, and I think it's very beautiful and sacred, and I would just never want that to be something that someone could just claim, I guess. So yeah, I think my whole journey will be because I'm a woman.
Well, what if I told you that's my experience? From the moment I could even form thoughts, I was a girl. Like, always has been, always will be. I was verbalizing that I was a woman or girl from the moment I could speak. So honestly, I relate, like, because I feel the same way. While your experience might look a little bit different than mine, I feel the same. I was always a girl, was always a woman, am a woman now, and I think that things are harder to define rather than just looking in that like black and white box of, ooh, it's biology, oh, it's not biology, because I think that really confuses what my experience is and also what you said, kind of like how different yours is, you know?
I'd have to disagree with that. I have lived a woman experience, but you never truly have had a lived experience as a woman.
True.
You have to think about biology, chromosomes, hormones. You can't discount biology and reality. If you feel like you've had a lived woman experience, that's not rooted in reality. You actually don't.
That's your opinion.
That's exactly what I believe.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, and I absolutely disagree and completely believe the opposite. So like, I can already see where this is going, like bringing in like spirituality. I've kind of just gotten the vibe a little bit, and like, I'm not on that same playing field.
But how could you truly know what it is to have a lived experience as a woman if you weren't born as a woman?
Yeah, how could you know what my experience is as a woman if you've never been in my shoes?
But you don't
But I've
also
been
know,
a woman my whole life.
but respectfully, you also don't know what it's like to be a trans woman. And I think that we get too comfortable reducing trans women down just to their genitalia. Because let's be clear, when we talk about the experience of being a trans woman, it does not start with biology. It starts with gender identity, gender expression, and how we socially show up. My womanhood is not a threat to your womanhood. And I actually agree with you. I have a similar way of thinking of like, I was born this way, I will die this way. My experience is very sacred, and that's why I'm in alignment with all of you here to be able to share that. I just think that certain groups, certain people love to use the conversation around biology, but we don't want to talk about the nuances of biology. There are some women, some cis women, who look more masculine than trans women. And does that take away from their womanhood? So I really think that we really have to open up and expand and broaden on what it is to be a woman.
Or like intersex people. Like,
By the way, I respect your opinions, but I 100% do agree with her. Most likely we do. I feel like that's almost like me being like, oh no, your experience is like a paraplegic, like I'm totally there and feel for you. It's like, how could I even say that? That's, to me, I feel offended being like, yeah, no, I've totally been there. Like, we agree to disagree because you haven't. And you
I
never
would
will.
argue that maybe our experiences are more similar than you would think. Like really, how I've like been exposed to certain things, and even as somebody who had not come out as a trans woman yet, I was going through experiences that women go through. And that may not resonate with you, but it's not really your place to tell me what I experienced and what I didn't.
Yeah, I was born a woman. Everything about me is a woman. All the hardships I go through every second of every day, being a woman, going through, I mean, I don't want to talk about too much personal stuff just because I am a public figure and most of it's extremely traumatic, that I think probably every woman goes through. But just from being a little girl, going through puberty, being around men, I've been in LA, was going out at a young age, through dealing with health issues, periods that send me to hospitals up until this day, hormone issues, constantly dealing with also being a public figure and my image and all these things. It's just so difficult. Sometimes I'm like, the fact that we work is so crazy to me because what I emotionally go through 24/7. I've dealt with cervical cancer, which has been the most traumatic thing I've ever gone through, multiple times, multiple surgeries. Women's healthcare is genuinely medieval. It makes me sick. I am very pro-woman. I hope that comes across. And I'm just like, my entire journey, my hormones, what I was born at, my biology makes me who I am and takes me on this journey. And I just always want that to be something respected because I really feel for women. What we go through is just.
I think you're off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you that I don't understand your lived experience because I've never lived an experience as a man. or
I'm not living an experience
a
as a man's
trans
friend.
person.
And I just want to be clear to everybody in this room
low vibration.
that I was invited here as a woman. So if we're going to engage in a conversation with each other, I would appreciate the respect of being talked to as a woman for this conversation. You don't have to agree, but I'm not going to be in here and being talked to that way because we were invited here all as women. Be
You
clear.
were actually invited here as a trans
Yes,
woman.
trans
And
woman.
when
That's
you
called a
have to
distinguisher, friend.
When you put trans or another word in front of woman, it's not actually a real
Tall
woman.
It
woman?
describes the woman.
Short woman?
It's an adjective.
You don't
It's an
have to do
adjective.
that for
Trans
a
woman
woman.
is a type of woman. And that goes under the whole umbrella of what womanhood is.
I 100% agree with what you're saying. And I think when we're having these conversations, I mean, I have in mind, okay, you are trans individuals. Your mindset through all of this is going to be from that mindset. So if I don't completely agree with what you're saying, duh, because we're on the opposite side of the spectrum. So if you're seeing us, conservatives, some of us are Christian, you're going to see that we believe a certain way. We wouldn't come on an episode if we didn't believe strongly about that. So you gotta give a little.
So to me, womanhood is a social class. We are put in a hierarchy societal-wise in the way that we are objectified, the way we are sexualized in porn and on the streets by men, the way our government dictates what we can and cannot do to our bodies, the way the government withholds funding to research medical facilities and things for our bodies as well as biological women's bodies as well. There are many things that we overlap with. And when I look at all of you, I see the similarities before I see the differences, but I also see the struggle. I work in I don't want to say exactly what, but like I work with women every single day and they tell me about the different things that happen to their body, where they have miscarriages or periods, and it is very hard to watch and listen to. And all I can do is support them and know that they have somebody to look up to. So, I mean, you can think I'm a woman or not. It doesn't really matter to me, but I see the similarity and I see you as a sister to me. If I saw you on the street, I'm gonna do whatever I can to protect you, and I would hope that you would do the same thing for me.
That does not make you a woman.
That's just where I am.
Absolutely.
And I just want to offer you that
boyfriend
space
do?
too, because I'm not trying to go in on you, obviously. I just am I guess I'm just curious. You know, I'm just very
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, well, hey.
First of all, I will say trans women are women. They're not men. I understand what you're saying. You're probably talking about cis men and cis women. Bodies are different. I totally agree with that. I am a personal believer that trans women do not have a competitive edge. We have trans athletes like Leah Thomas who won 5th place in swimming. She didn't win 1st place. And the thing is, when it comes to trans athletes, their hormone levels have to be at a certain level to be able to participate in the 1st place. And a lot of the controversy with Leah Thomas was she tied in 5th place with Riley Gaines, who I'm not too fond of myself. And so it was this whole conversation around, can trans women have this competitive edge? Absolutely not. It goes back to the conversation that some women have higher levels of natural testosterone than some trans women. And we do not always have the competitive edge over cis athletes. There are plenty of trans athletes out there. Now, there's not enough for us to be able to compete in our own sports. So that's why it's important that trans women play with women in sports. Now, the reality of it is we don't give trans men this same slack and this same mouth like we do trans women, right? And so my question always becomes, why is that? Why do conservative women not give trans men the same flack that they give trans women in sports? I would love to know the answer to that question.
So for me, I grew up playing sports. Water polo was my thing. And even now, like I do martial arts, right? And so even in water polo, sometimes we would have to practice with the boys. And it was humbling to see the disparity between me as an 18-year-old girl, senior year on varsity, versus a 12 to 14-year-old boy. And that's not because I sucked. That's because they're growing muscles, and there's just, when it comes down to it, you can't fight that biology. And so when I see, the argument that trans individuals should participate in women's sports specifically, and to answer your question, why are trans women targeted so much, is because trans men are not going to be winning athletic competitions against biological men, right? Biological women are
I
the
disagree
ones.
with that. Patricio, what was
I think
Patricio's last
it
name?
is about
He's won a couple of
900
boxing matches against cis men. Patricio Emmanuel, I think that's his last name.
But that's
We're
the
trying to leave room for nuance
few
a
and
little
far
bit.
between, right? And so when we're thinking about somebody, especially after they've gone through puberty, they have the muscle mass of a biological man, they have the lung capacity of a biological man, they have the bone
not
density
true.
of a biological
babe.
man.
Everybody's
In a lot
science,
of
everybody's body
scenarios-
chemistry is actually different. You cannot actually measure the size of somebody's heart, somebody's lungs to be able to determine that. There are some cis women who have a higher agility than trans women. Because again, Leah Thomas only got 5th place. These trans women are not getting first place across the board. And so I just want to make sure that we're not being intellectually dishonest about people's body chemistry. It is a case-by-case basis. All trans women, all women are not made the same.
I would really love to hear the rest of what you were trying to say.
Yeah, so I just think when it comes down to it, we can say there's an outlier here and there, or there's an outlier where a transgender woman matches the hormone levels, but when we're looking at the averages of a group, a biological man is always going to beat out a biological woman. And so when we talk about, right, like feminism and everything, and like giving women
But
opportunities.
trans women does not start with
having
biology. It's gender identity.
Just let me finish this one point. For like feminists, I don't know if you like proclaim yourself as feminists, but I would think that a big part of feminism is giving women opportunities. A big part of a lot of girls like me and friends that I have was getting scholarships in sports to go to college. That's how a lot of my friends were even able to go and pursue a degree. And so when they're being beat out, there's like 900 instances globally where trans women
Can
have
you show
beat
those
out.
resources? I don't think so. And if your feminism does not include trans women, it's very problematic. I just want you to know that.
That's what I
Yeah,
was gonna say.
there's many instances where trans women have beat out
Please
biological
name
women,
a few.
and that's a sad
I would love
story.
to. We would love to know those resources.
Well, you mentioned Leah Thomas. I know you said that Leah Thomas tied with Riley
She would
Gaines.
have got 438th if she was competing against
Right,
other
and
men.
so that's what we're talking about when we say like those opportunities are taken, and I'm sure you believe that Leah Thomas should be in there, but that's one
so
spot
what
that
about
could
the
have
first
been
4
given to a
women that
biological
beat
woman.
Leah Thomas and Riley Gaines? So what about those women? They were cis women. They were biological women. They were not, excuse me, hold on. Let's not interrupt a black trans woman when she's speaking. Leah Thomas got 5th place.
But you do interrupt.
I know, to
Leah
her
Thomas got 5th place.
devil's advocate. You guys interrupted a million times.
So
when
much
the black
more.
trans, when the only black person is on set, when the only black person's on
What does
set,
that matter?
I think that we should prioritize the black
point of
voice
view.
there.
No,
So I'm
I
just
know, I
saying.
don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
If you
Also,
say that we're
are
all
we being
women and we're all
racist?
equal, then
I don't
why,
Racist
care.
today?
then
I don't
why
care
would
if
you
you're being
being
racist, but that's not fair.
black make you any different?
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me powerful.
Surgery. I'm familiar with the process.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm glad that you are, because there's a lot of folks that have not. And so the thing is, a trans child can just transition socially and not have anything medically done, or just mentally or environmentally. And so I just want to also bring that to the space too, because I think sometimes people just think that trans kids are just having surgeries at young age, like 7, 8, 9. And I know on the conservative side, a lot of these conservative influencers have run off that propaganda. And I just want to say that's not necessarily what's happening. Like you have to, like the doctor has to approve that the child can go through this. Like the they have to see a therapist to make sure this is what you want.
I understand.
You have to talk to the parents. Like there's
in
a whole
best
process
case
with that.
scenarios, if you're going to do something as severe as that, I would hope that there was a therapist involved. I would hope that there's different medical counsel. When you say gender affirming care, at first it seems like you were on board with not doing anything to a child until they're 18. Now I'm hearing gender affirming care, which to my understanding is hormone blockers, right? So you're giving hormone blockers to pause puberty, but then it's always usually, most of the time, it's followed up by giving like testosterone or estrogen, which we know has effects on the body, right? Puberty is the most important time for a young person, right? It's crazy, everything is changing. When you're doing puberty blockers, you are doing real damage to a young adult.
They're reversible.
It is
here's the thing,
irreversible.
but to your point though, I just want to clarify.
And so it's just
Yeah,
you're
let me
saying gender
clarify
affirming
that.
care, but those are irreversible things, especially when they're done over spans of years. It
Yeah.
affects things like fertility, bone density, and all those things.
So we also have to acknowledge that there are some cis children that are also on puberty blockers as well too, because of health risk. Because there's something called precocious puberty, where little kids are coming into puberty a lot faster, and so for health reasons, they're also able to use those puberty blockers as well too. And so that's kind of what I mean about
But not for the
gender
extended time that a
affirming
child
care.
who is trans would.
Not
a child who is
necessarily.
trans. Precocious puberty.
It
if a
just
child,
really depends because we don't.
That's
but when I say gender affirming care, though, I'm not necessarily just talking just about medicine. It could be therapy. It could be just having a support system. That could be a part of that as well, too. So it's a very broad and expanded thing. And I think what I was just trying to say was it's not just about surgeries.
Yeah.
It's just not. And I think that's where I have to say, because like I said earlier, you have to be a certain age to even get the surgeries, but like having a social circle, having a lot of support, and having therapy is a part of that gender affirming care. I mean,
Socially
so
transitioning.
So I am pro, having a support system with the parents, with the child, and I've also heard that there's some trans kids that don't want to talk to their parents about it because it's not safe to. And I also want to bring that into the picture for the trans youth that can't talk to their parents, they don't feel supported. So yeah.
So in 2022, I ran for a school board. I'm in Orange County, California, and I extensively researched all of the curriculum. And I know that earlier in the conversation, you guys said that you don't push your ideologies onto anybody. You guys just want to live your lives. And I do respect that. But we do have to look at the fact that in the curriculum in public schools today, there is trans ideology and LGBTQ ideology that is pushed in the curriculum that is rooted in Marxism. And that's creating a lot of, no, I'm telling you.
Hilarious. Okay, girl.
So you haven't researched it then.
What is Marxism?
Yeah,
What is
please.
Marxism, honey?
Yeah, so it's creating this suicidal ideation in children. And if it's true, trans
I could argue this about
kids-
Christian values.
Yeah, trans kids
So-
are 35 to 50%
Do you know
more
why trans
likely.
kids are more likely to kill themselves?
That's what
Because you
I'm
deny
saying.
basic things to them. They can't even play sports with their friends, girl.
So, but is it they're
Hello?
committing suicide because they can't play sports, or is it because they're trans? Having gender dysphoria.
How would you feel as
already
a child
putting
if
yourself-
people told if they told you every single day you were wrong and nothing about you is real? They constantly denied you spaces. You were not allowed to play in sports. Like these, have you ever met a trans child?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I have.
And
I work with several.
Okay,
I've worked
that's
with
great.
50 plus children who are trans. And you know what they like to do? They like to play with their friends. They like to play kickball. They like to go swimming. They like to be children. If you met a trans child, you would not think anything about them being trans. It doesn't matter to them. They just want to be children.
Well, I think about how it's sad that they've been told that their body they were born in is not enough. You know, a child might
Who
be
told
born with
them
a.
that?
Okay, so I'll finish my
Girl,
thought.
who said that?
Okay, so
I grew up in a rural area.
So you were a child, right? And you said that you were a girl. And I'm sure somewhere along the line, somebody or social media affirmed that and said to you,
Nobody
you're
affirmed
not.
that for me. You're
Okay.
talking out of an experience that
At
you have.
some point-
Hey, babe, listen to me clear. Nobody affirmed that for me, I promise. Years and years and years and years of therapy and self-discovery, and myself is what brought me to that.
Get in the way.
I don't
Yes,
think so.
yes.
I think it's a matter of politeness, and politeness is personal. Like, I'm getting to know you guys now and gaining a respect for you coming on this show and sharing how you feel, and that's personal. So I would like to be polite and speak to you and address you how you'd like to be, addressed. But I feel like compelled speech where we have to address any trans person by their pronouns that we don't know is government overreach. So I think there has to be that personal relationship and not a forced speech. I don't think we should be forced to call any trans person by their pronouns because there are so many. I think right now we're at 72 or 73 different genders. There are some that I read that's spelled ZE or XA and do people even know what those are? How can everyone keep track
Why
of
do
all
we
of
need
them?
to know, though? Like, if you came up to me and said, "Can you call me Sock?" Work. I will gladly call you Sock if it makes you happy. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't even really care if you wanted to call me he, him. I'm very secure with who I am. I'm very secure with who I surround myself with. And I believe it's your right to say whatever you want, sure. And I believe it's your right to deal with the consequences that come with saying whatever you want. That's completely fine. I just think the topic is really weird to go out of your way to make somebody feel upset or sad about themselves when they're just being like, can you please call me this thing?
That's not what I said.
Wait, I don't believe in going out of your way to disrespect people, but I'm sorry.
I know,
If I
I'm
see,
just giving
if
you
I
an
see
example.
Millie Tino, that is a man. I'm calling him a man. That is, by the way, the worst representation of trans people. He is a, legally I can't say, but starts with a P in my mind. But that is a dude, and I'm calling it
If you
he,
feel
him.
like she's the, if you feel like that she is the, I'm gonna say she. If you feel like she's the worst trans person, that's your opinion.
Yeah,
but the reality
for
of it
sure.
is, you learned pronouns when you were in first grade English class. You use pronouns every single day.
I only
It's
know
not to
she
your
and
point.
him.
But
Like,
here's
I
the
didn't learn
thing.
Caesar.
Yeah,
But here's the thing,
Only
to
two.
your point though, because I think you bring up an interesting point about the expansiveness of pronouns, right? But the reality of it is, there's different types. There's the subject pronouns, the object pronouns, the possessive pronouns, the interrogative pronouns. Like, you use yours and mines each and every day. And so what I'm saying is, I agree with those that say that they just want basic respect. And it seems like you have the respect.
Yeah.
You're there. So I think with me, it's kind of confusing because you sit here and you just told us that you want to be polite and address us the way we want to. That's what trans people just want you to do.
And I don't think we're talking
Whatever
about government
pronoun
override.
it is.
I think we're talking about like kind of what you said, honestly,
Yeah.
like personal politeness.
Or in the
Yes.
workplace, you know, I don't
Yeah.
want to be forced to call somebody something absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
You know, it's like, I think we should just keep the two.
she.
He and
Simple.
she.
But that's not
him
your choice,
and her.
babe. That's really not really your choice.
Well, it's just,
I hear you.
Yeah,
I
Your
really
choice
hear
either,
you.
though, to change the entire trajectory
That's not what
of
I'm doing,
male and
though.
female for the. Yeah, so I mean, you just said like you're not allowed to change that, but the trans movement, the entire thing is trying to change what has been for thousands of years. And at the end of the day, I mean, I have my beliefs. I don't think we should have to change all of society for a supposed 1% of the population. And I believe that for many other things. I have my own trials and tribulations, but I don't think the world should have to cater to me just because of my specific niche issues. You know what I mean?
But you
And
should
so-
be respected for your pronouns.
Absolutely.
You
and
deserve
I don't
respect
think I've
for
used
that.
any wrong pronouns here today. I don't think I should have to. I think if I were to use the pronouns that you don't want me to use, then you know what? Tough. Like,
Nope, you
they're-
get to reap the consequences of that.
But what are the consequences?
That part.
Wait. This is extremely important. If she calls you he, him, what are the consequences? Because to me, that sounds like
I don't have to
that
engage in
sounds like a
conversation.
threat.
It does sound like a threat.
So here's
that's
the
an
thing,
issue
though.
if it's a threat.
So here's the thing, though. Let's address
Yeah.
that. It's not necessarily a threat, but there are consequences for your actions. So if you were to, do that in the workplace, if you were to misgender me, that would be considered transphobia, and that is against company policy. And so little stuff like that, whether you agree with that or not, little stuff like that matters. So when she was saying that, it doesn't mean a threat.
No.
It means that in
Yeah, I
certain
want to be clear on
situations,
that. That's not
there
what
could be consequences.
No, I mean, like, I don't
See,
have
this
to
is
engage.
where your side.
No, thank you for clarifying that.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you for clarifying that. As a woman, the first thing I think, being on guard all the time, is like, oh, you're now threatening my safety as a woman, and that would freak me out.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is where the society have gotten to now, guys. That men, biological men, will be debating biological women that they are women. How crazy. Biological men is arguing and debating biological women that they themselves, they are women because they use the word trans. Jeez. Because they use the word trans woman, they feel like they're women. Every single one of them, that they are men right there, that they still have their genitalia on. They can never experience what is called period. They can never give birth. They can never in their life have cervical cancer. They can never in their life have breast cancer. Every freaking single one of these women that call themselves trans women, they can never experience that till they die. They can never experience it. It's crazy how we have gotten to a state when biological men who feel like they're women will be arguing with biological women who knows that they're women because they were born biologically and experience every single thing a woman experience, their hormones, everything. Biological men is different, is arguing with biological women and they accept they're also women. Jesus. This is crazy. This is very ridiculous. See, I'm seriously telling you, like, if 20 years ago that they tell anyone that this sort of thing is going to happen, no one will believe. Because it is ridiculous, guys. It is crazy. How if you see the women right there, you can tell that they're as you can tell that they are this trans women. You just see the thing, catch here. What the heck are you doing? The real women never did that. Like, you can tell these are these are purely if the language come from me, I don't care. This trans women, what they were doing here, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Because, no disrespect, I'm not trying to disrespect any one of them in any way. The delusion they have in their head that they don't believe is real. That is their own goddamn business. But what I'm saying is that the threats that they threaten the biological women, that they have consequences by calling them man or he or him. They mean that threat. Because I've seen a trans woman who gripped someone's neck before because they were not addressing them properly. I'm not disrespecting any single one of them that they changed their gender or they decided people should be calling them in this pronoun or sort. No. What I'm saying is that every single one of them there who believe in their head that they're women, they can never experience what these biological women have, what they're experiencing. They can never in this world. And every one of them have their genitalia on. And the rate at which this is 2026. We are having this debate. Trans. This is what Charlie was talking about ever since. I'm saying this like it's bizarre. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, serious. I love the woman with the suits, the white suits, who was speaking. She was very, very plain. She did not filter anything. She was saying the truth. She don't care how they feel. No. She said it as someone who is knowledgeable, as someone who has experienced what being a woman is. And it's ridiculous how people who are not like biologically women coming to tell you that they are women and you have not experienced what they themselves have experienced. Like, it's kind of like insulting to womanhood. Do you understand? Either people just accept it or not as the truth. People might hate on it, but the truth. You understand? And I try to respect every single one of them, their feedback. Frankly speaking, the biological women, I respect their feedback. Even the trans women coming out here to say your mind, it's not easy because people tend to like boo or shame them. You understand? But the truth of the matter is that what you are doing is that you can never experience fully what a woman is. Even if you try to be in a delusional state, you can never experience what a woman is. Till you die, you can never. There's no amount of surgery, this thing that you make you have the experience of a woman. Do you understand? So it's just interesting that this biological woman came here to defend themselves in a very polite and right way. And I try to enjoy every moment of it. Frankly speaking, I enjoyed every moment of it. Comment down below what you think about this video. Give us a thumbs up, share this video as many as can. Subscribe to our channel, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay safe.